Let's blow this up.
Look alive, Bomb Squad, because we are back. It is time to kick off Season 3 of Let's Blow This Up. I am your host, Jason Sircone, and I am damn glad to be back with you, fully recharged and ready to launch Season 3, something that has really come together over the past few weeks. And I got to tell you, the reason why I wanted to do this kickoff series, or this kickoff spectacular, you can define it as a spectacular if you want. I'll leave that up to you. It's open to interpretation. But the reason I wanted to start this off tonight was to really set the table for what this is going to be for Season 3. And I'll tell you, I have never planned a season this way. And I can say, after doing it like this, I don't want to do it another way. The reason why is because it opened up a lot of different opportunities for me. And I'm going to get into those here in a moment. But I do want to say, this is the first live stream since November here on Let's Blow This Up. Season 2 was pretty much all live streams, I'm pretty sure. But if you were there for those, welcome back to the show, Bomb Squad. If you're new to the show, welcome. We're going to talk about what you're going to learn on Let's Blow This Up tonight. And I'm going to set the table for what's to come over the next 12 weeks here on Let's Blow This Up. Now, again, never really put a season together like this. But if you did tune into the season finale of Season 2, Jay Franzi and I talked about making changes to your podcast. And really, Let's Blow This Up has been a little bit of an experiment since I launched the show when I brought Bombtrack Media to life. I did the first season with 8 episodes and then did Season 2 with live streaming because I wanted to dip my toe in that and see how that went. But it wasn't even really a dipping of the toe. I dove right the hell in once things got started because I got addicted to that medium. And here we are with Season 3. I wanted to bring together the best of all worlds. And in doing that, I also wanted to combine what I was doing on my other show, Podcast Theory, which has since been retired because I was doing 2 shows about podcasting. Really no need for that. We can do everything right here on Let's Blow This Up. So if you're new to the show, if you're watching live on Facebook, on YouTube, or on LinkedIn, please take a moment to drop a comment, say hello. If you've got any questions as we go through the show tonight, please drop them in the comments. I'll be glad to address them here on the show. But tonight is just a preview of what's to come over the next 12 weeks. So I said a moment ago, this was a different way of building a season, but what I liked the most about it was the efficiency. And I should say that was one big element. The other was the networking opportunities that opened up because of this approach to building a podcast season. It allowed me to connect with some people and have some conversations before the actual recordings. And they're going to continue to evolve as things move forward over the next 12 weeks. But what you can expect from Let's Blow This Up over the next 12 weeks. 3 episodes a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Every Tuesday, the co-host collective episodes will go live. I'm going to explain what all of this is in a few moments, but every Tuesday, co-host collective episodes. Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Also, bombtrackmedia.com/live. I'll be doing a live stream, much like I did in Season 2. And on Thursdays, I'm going to do solo episodes to bring you some different insights. And I'll cover some of the topics that I'm going to bring up on those shows here in a moment as well. And then the audio version of these live streams will go live every Friday. So that's 4 episodes a week total, 3 in theory, but you're getting a lot. And it's great information all condensed into a tight window. And that's really what I like about this season and how it's coming together is there's going to be a ton of great information covered, but I was able to plot this out and know exactly where things were going and how they're going to unfold. And that to me is an incredibly efficient way to produce podcasts because now once this season's done, I can go back into hibernation for a few months. It'll be just in time for summer and I can kick back for a couple months and recharge the batteries. And the way this mind works, it's crazy, but I've already started thinking about things I can do for Season 4. And we technically haven't even kicked off Season 3 yet, other than, well, I say that's the wrong thing to say. We're 5 minutes and 25 seconds deep into Season 1 or Season 3 so far. I'm going to bring Mr. Mark Ronnick's comment up on stage. What's going on, Mark? Mark is one of our card-carrying members of the Let's Blow This Up co-host collective. You heard his voice on season 2, and you'll be hearing it more on season 3. So, Mark, thanks for joining tonight as I kick this bad boy off. Now, jumping into some of the specifics about season 3, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was our season 3 sponsor, the Podcast Professionals Association. So if you are a loyal listener of Let's Blow This Up, you may recall Tracy DeForge joining me for an episode on season 2, and we talked about the newly formed Podcast Professionals Association. Since then, I have joined and become a member, and I've been getting a lot from that community up to this point. So I talked to Tracy and her co-founder, Jen Trepic, about sponsoring season 3 because I wanted to boost all of us. I want to bring more attention to what they're doing because they've created something that the podcast industry truly needs. And they are the industry's only nonprofit trade association. I believe the code is, I'm going to screw this up. Let's see if I can remember this right. 501c6. That's something that was just established for them. And they're doing some great things to bring professionals in the podcast space who utilize podcasting to grow their business, to help others grow their business, whether it's editors or consultants and producers, you name it, across the board. It's a great group that's come together, and they are officially the season 3 sponsor of Let's Blow This Up. Tracy will be back on the show on the 3rd live stream of this season, along with Jen, and we're going to talk about how that all came together, their ideas for building the Podcast Professionals Association, and we want to share some reasons why, if you are in the podcast space, if you're working in this industry, why you might want to join that organization as well. As I said, having been a member now for, I want to say 4 months now, I've had a chance to connect with some great people, and the idea of asking them if they'd like to sponsor season 3 came to me because just like anything I do with networking, this is going to be a topic that gets covered a few times on this season. Networking has been a big part of me building my business. I love the fact that we can be back out in front of people. I feel like even saying that now is a little outdated because we've been back on the show, on the scene, doing things in person with people again, but COVID took that away from us for a couple of years, and it sucked. It was hard to not be in front of people, and now we can be. And I've done a lot over the past year and change to get out in my community, meet new people, and locally here in Pittsburgh, but also in the podcast community in a virtual setting, and the Podcast Professionals Association allowed me to do just that. And now I've got several of the guests that are lined up for live streams throughout this season as fellow members of the Podcast Professionals Association. So collectively, we are all going to share some great insights about what that organization is all about. And you can see just from this little sneak preview, it's brought me together with several other people in my podcasting community, and it's allowed me to expand my network. So I'm looking forward to diving into some great conversations on these live streams with fellow members of the association. But podcastprofessionalsassociation.com is where you need to visit if you want to learn more about our season 3 sponsor. Okay, let's talk about what's happening on season 3 of Let's Blow This Up. As I said, 3 episodes a week, 3 different formats coming your way. This is going to give you an opportunity to learn in a number of different ways. So kicking things off next Tuesday, 6 days from now, as I sit here live with you tonight, Let's Blow This Up's exclusive co-host collective episode 1 goes live. And I love this collective. The idea was given to me by Jay Franzi, who is a part of the co-host collective as well. And before I go on, I want to say hi to Mr. Kenneth Dunner, who is here. I've been everywhere and anywhere, my friend. It's been a nice little break from the show, but glad to be back and glad to have you here on the scene with us as well, Ken. I appreciate you tuning in always. And I don't know who Mr. Michael LeBlanc is, but if he is here and he accepted your invite, please say hello, Michael. It's great to have you here as well and as a part of the Bomb Squad. So transitioning back to the co-host collective, Jay Franzi had given me this idea about how he had heard about a show that had rotating guests and rotating co-hosts join the show. And I love that idea because I have several very close friends that I talk to all the time about different ideas in this space, whether it be in a mastermind setting, one-on-one setting, maybe we just have a vent session. One way or another, we're all communicating amongst one another about different aspects of podcasting, things we love, things we don't love, strategies. I felt, why not bring that thought process, that mindset to let's blow this up. That way, all of these things that we're constantly talking about are actually documented, and you and the Bomb Squad gets to enjoy every bit of it. So that's what's taking place as we kick off this series. It's 12 episodes, 30 minutes apiece. We've recorded 2 of them as I sit and live stream with you tonight, Bomb Squad, and I got to tell you, wow, we learned. I knew 30 minutes with all the things that we normally talk about. It's a very condensed window. So what I'm learning is we are jam packing these half hours with great content. There's no fluff. There's no filler. There's no bullshit. It is the good stuff that you want to hear about. And I want to take a moment now to thank those that volunteered to be a part of this. And every one of them, you heard them on season 2. Now they're going to be a part of season 3 in a much bigger way. Mark Ronick, who was here earlier, who said hello. Megan Shields of Chime House Media. Jay Franzi, the host of the Jay Franzi Show. Simona Costantini, the founder of Volt Productions and her new company, Northflow. Anna Xavier of the podcast space. And as I mentioned before, Tracy DeForge of the Podcast Professionals Association and of Produce Your Podcast. We've got 12 topics that we lined up, and the idea with these topics was not to just talk about the basic stuff that's been talked about ad nauseum in the space. I wanted to dive into some things that to some degree had a layer of controversy to them, but also were subjects that needed more attention. Things we could talk about that just weren't the status quo of podcast talk. Things like mindset, for example. And again, like that's something I know I've talked about and you've probably heard on other podcasts, but I still think we need to get more attention on this subject. So that's just one of the topics that we're covering. Megan Shields joined me on season 2 a couple times, one with her husband, Matt, to talk about ads in the Facebook space and how podcasters can leverage these meta ad platforms to grow their show. Still not seeing a ton of it, and still seeing a lot of podcasters looking for ways to grow, but not tapping into that gold mine. So Megan is here again to talk about that. We're going to talk about limiting beliefs that hold podcasters back. We're going to talk about the role of video in podcasting, which for me, I love it. I don't think anybody in this space should be ignoring it, but there are other podcasters out there that feel completely different about this subject. So diving into that is going to be good. We're going to be talking about something that I love talking about, these next 2 things, and it's going to be fun to tear them apart in a different way. One is download numbers. Yes, it's one of the veins of the veins. I don't know how you say it. It's the veins of my podcast existence. I feel like we need to talk about this in a different way. And one of the people that's joining me on that collective episode, Mark Ronick, feels the same. So we're going to look at this from a different way. And I feel that, again, podcast numbers have some importance, but it's all about how you utilize them and how you evaluate them and how you let them impact what you're creating. So we're going to dive into that. And not to go too much into this, but the other one is something that this is a subject I'm interested to pick apart because I'm probably going to catch some shit for it. But I have a feeling that you as maybe prospective podcast guest, or if you've gone on podcasts, or even if you've worked with an agency who's done guest pitching for you, it's getting overcomplicated. And I think we're living in a world where we can really seriously get more opportunities to make guest appearances by taking a much more simple approach. So we're going to talk about that on one of the collective episodes as well. So I'm falling all behind on these comments here as I lay out season 3 in our co-host collective. Mr. LeBlanc, welcome to the show. Let's blow up Go Brunch. I don't know what Go Brunch is, so you'll have to fill me in on that. And I can't blame Jay Franzi for speaking very highly of me. I mean, how else would he speak of me? I speak very highly of Jay as well. His ability to absorb good information and advice about cooking a steak properly could be in question. But other than that, Jay's the man. And I'm always looking forward to collaborating with him on this season as well. when Jay will be back for the co-host collective. He's coming in for a couple episodes on that, and then I'll get to the big wrap-up season finale that's going to take place here on the live streams here in a moment. But just to let everybody know, that's where we're at. Co-host collective is going to be an absolute blast. You're going to love these episodes because, again, 30 minutes. We're the ones we did already. We all got done and said, "Wow, shit, that went fast," and easily could have kept going if we wanted to. But the idea is to try to keep it in a very tight window so you can learn a lot and get back to your life. All right, that's the co-host collective. A huge thank you to Mark, Tracy, Simona, Megan, Jay, and Anna for joining me to put this together for season 3. We're going to see where this goes. Maybe it's going to be something we continue into future seasons. I have a feeling we will, but overall, I'm really looking forward to how this is going to all come together. Wednesday live streams, you're here right now. It's going to be just like this, but I'll be joined by podcast personalities from across the podcasting world. As I said, some of them are fellow members of the Podcast Professionals Association, our season 3 sponsor. Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, much like right now, here we are live. I love this time slot much more than 7 o'clock. You might remember if you were listening to season 2, started at 8 o'clock. Moved it down to 7 o'clock. I don't know. It just, things sort of fell off then. I don't know what it is. It's one of those things, I guess you're trying to find that right time slot. And I thought about even going to 9 o'clock, but then I started thinking about my own bedtime because my plan once these are done is to produce the audio version so I can have it ready to go on Friday, and I'll be up all night. I don't want to do that. I'm trying to get to bed early these days. 45-year-old man over here. I plucked a white eyebrow out the other day to talk about issues with age. I went and yelled at a cloud after that and told some kids to get off my lawn. It was a good day. Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock here on, whether you're watching on Facebook and the Bombtrack Media page, on the Bombtrack Media YouTube channel, or on my personal LinkedIn page, you can catch the show on all of those platforms. The easiest way to connect is to go to bombtrackmedia.com/live, and you'll be able to connect to your favorite network and catch the show. Or you can just watch it there because the YouTube link will be there for that week's episode. So, as I said, many of the guests for season 3's live stream series are going to be from the Podcast Professionals Association. And we're going to kick it off next week as I am joined by none other than Mr. Doug Downs. Doug is the host of Stories and Strategies. Now, I didn't know this, and Doug didn't tell me this. Stories and Strategies is the world's most listened to public relations podcast, according to Rephonic. Now, I did not know this. I just learned this tonight. So Doug and I actually collaborated on his podcast. I got to go outside of my comfort zone a little bit, not even really outside of my comfort zone. Just I was able to talk about something other than podcasting for a minute. We talked about the rise and fall of Haley Welch, aka Hawk Tua, which even saying that makes my skin crawl. But that was a fun episode. So if you've never listened to Doug's podcast, Stories and Strategies, I highly recommend you do that now. It's a good show. Don't just listen to my episode. Listen to all the episodes he has in the bank. But Doug's going to be my first guest to kick off this season. Later on in the season, I'm going to be joined by his producer, Emily. I've got Julie Brown, who is one of the world's foremost authorities on networking. And her and I are going to tap into networking strategies here in the podcast world, but also in the outside world. I can't wait to dig into that. As I said, networking has been a very big part of my life for a long time, but a lot over the past year. Julie brings some tremendous value to the stage. We'll have Tracy and Jen from the PPA, the Podcast Professionals Association, if you're not into the whole brevity thing. We've got Nate Palmer, who joined me on my old show, Evolution of Brand. He is the host of, I think he still does his podcast on this, but he's the author of the $1 Million Body Method. And I actually was the voice of his audiobook. All the reason in the world you need to pick up that book, get in shape, and hear me saying the words out loud so you can do it. That's the perfect combination, right? All kinds of great guests lined up for these live streams. I have so much fun doing these. Every week, I look forward to the conversations that I get to have, and they're all unscripted. I ask everybody that joins me to share some information so I can get to know them a little bit, and we zero in on a topic of what we want to talk about and what we want to focus on. But no questions in front of me. We just go and we just talk, and that's my favorite part. Is the whole thing is organic. So many members of the PPA, as I said, Steve Stewart's another one, Eric Johnson, Jennifer Longworth, so many great guests lined up to make this series come to life this season. It's going to be an excellent follow-up to season 2 of Let's Blow This Up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you're strapped in for the ride. So every Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, connect to your favorite platform at bombtrackmedia.com/live, and we'll have some fun together every Wednesday night. All right, and then Thursday, this is bringing together my love of solo podcasting and taking my format from my old show, Podcast Theory, and moving it over to Let's Blow This Up. So as I wrapped up season 2, me and Jay Franzi talked about the finale. He talked about in the finale these changes that I wanted to make, because the whole revelation came from the fact that I realized I was doing 2 podcasts about the same thing, just doing them in different formats. Podcast Theory was my first podcast about podcasting. So it wasn't easy to retire it, but it wasn't hard either, because I knew Let's Blow This Up was where the action was taking place. This is where I wanted to be. So moving that format over here was a very simple transition, and I've got 12 solo episodes set to come at you every single Thursday. Now, I'm going to dive into a number of different things here. Some of them might follow up slightly on either the co-host collective episode that week or the live stream, but others, I've got some topics lined up that I really want to dive into. And again, with these, it wasn't the status quo stuff. I wasn't trying to just bring more of the same topics into this podcast and talk about the same stuff, even if it's solo, just you and me rapping. I didn't want to do the same thing over and over. So a couple of them I'm going to talk about. Like I said, I'm talking with Julie Brown about networking. I'm going to do a solo episode on that as well. Going to talk about doing better intros or making better intros for your podcast, talking about making better titles and the benefits of that, strategies that business leaders truly need to be aware of if they want to leverage podcasting for their brand. So if that's you and you want to make podcasting a serious element of your business, there's strategies you've got to be thinking about. And it's not just proceeding the way that you have been told by some guru or expert on Twitter or on X or on, do they have a third name? That's the same platform. TikTok, Instagram, you name it. There's a lot of people out there that are saying that you can only do podcasting a certain way. And I'm here to debunk that myth. I feel there's much more that can be uncovered and many more approaches that can make this work. I'm proving it with season 3, because this is a way of building a podcast that I've heard many of the gurus and coaches and experts out there say, no, you can't do a season because of blah, 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 blah. They have their reasons. Listen, live in the past, live in the way that you've always lived and feel like there's only one way to do this. I'm going to do this a different way, and I'm still going to bring you and the Bomb Squad tremendous information. And that's the way I'm rolling, and doing these solo episodes is going to give me an opportunity to talk to you one-on-one. I've always loved the solo approach to podcasting, and I'm going to get an opportunity to capture more of that in this season. We're going to talk about trailers, why I feel many trailers get wasted because so many people just throw something out there and say, oh, hey, we're going to start a podcast. Make sure you listen. It's like a minute long, and it serves the purpose of getting a trailer out there so you can get your show onto Buzzsprout and Apple and Spotify and all that stuff. But your trailer can do so much more for you. So we're going to talk about that. Again, this season was designed to tap into a couple different formats, but really drive some things home in regards to podcasting that you may not be thinking about. And that's where we're going to go with it. And we're going to have an absolute friggin' blast doing it. So 36 episodes set to come your way over the next 12 weeks. That's 3 a week for the math uninclined. And I'm pumped for it. I really am looking forward to it. It was funny. I was getting ready for tonight, and I don't know why math escaped me in that moment, but I was like, okay, cool. We're kicking off this show tonight. And I was like, holy shit, we're like 6 days away from this actually starting. And I was like, yeah, duh. I mean, this is kind of what you've been preparing for and getting everything lined up. So here we are. The season is upon us. I'm, like I said, super pumped to bring you this content, because I really think season 3 is going to take this show in a whole different way. Not to say that the information that was covered in season 1 and 2 is non-existent or no longer in date, or it's no longer it's not obsolete. That's what I'm trying to say. It's still great information. in the downtime, jump back in the archives, check out some of these episodes, because there's some tremendous conversations over the course of those episodes. And I threw a couple solos in there as well. So the first 2 seasons of Let's Blow This Up really helped me get to where season 3 is. And I truly believe that this approach is going to be how we roll going forward, because I want to bring you and the Bomb Squad as much great content as I possibly can in a number of different formats, not just one way. I want you to feel this show and experience the information packed within this show in a number of different ways from a number of different voices. So I'm going to catch up here. Jeez, I don't even know if I can catch up on these comments. I love you guys for dropping the comments. I just went on a roll there. What platform are you using for the podcast outside of LinkedIn? Have you looked at Restream? I have not looked at Restream. I use StreamYard, and that's where we go live, and this then filters out to Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. I thought about making some changes. There's a couple platforms out there, but overall, I've been very happy with StreamYard. I work with my clients in this studio space as well. So this for me is where I'm at. I know there were a lot of people that were a little upset that StreamYard upped their price and really didn't give anybody a warning or an additional option. It was just, hey, here's our price now. Not exactly the best PR move, but I looked at that and I just said, well, I get it, and I use it all the time for a number of things. Even when I'm just shooting videos and recording them that aren't going live for podcasting, I'm using StreamYard. So this has been a great platform for me. And I want to thank Ken. I want to thank Mike. I want to thank Mark for dropping by for this short little kickoff to season 3. Next Tuesday, everything starts. And that first episode of the Co-Host Collective, it's going to feature myself, Mark Ronick, and Simona Costantini. You'll be able to find it on your favorite podcast platform, and the video, of course, will be live on YouTube as well. And then Wednesday, we'll have Doug Downs in the house here on the live stream, Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And then Thursday, I'm going to go solo, and I haven't decided which one of those solo episodes I'm going to drop for you on that date, but you'll know soon. Overall, I wouldn't let you down, Bomb Squad. It's been an odd few months not being able to connect with you and talk with you on a weekly basis like I have been, but I've got some great things lined up for you. Here's how you can support the show. Now, this is the part where I might, you know what, I'll ask for it. I don't care. I just don't, because it seems like it's one of the hardest things to get people to do when it comes to a podcast. If you like what you're hearing, let the internet know. Let the world know by jumping over to Apple Podcasts and leaving a rating and review. Those always help with discoverability, but it's one of those things I don't hardly ever ask for those. I never put out any, like, you know, I know a lot of podcasts end with leave me a rating, leave me a review. That's not my jam. I think the better thing to ask for, if you truly get value from this content, tell a friend. Tell one friend, one person in your circle who might be thinking about bringing podcasting into their practices, or they want to create content for their brand, but they're looking for an efficient way of doing so, or they're just looking to establish better thought leadership and better authority in their particular space. Podcasting is the ticket. That's the platform that so many people are gravitating to now, because it not only allows you to do just that, but it allows you to build content that can be used for a number of different things. And I've talked about this on past episodes of the show, but there may be people out there right now thinking, I'd like to start a podcast, but I'm just not sure where to start. They may need a resource that guides them in the right direction. This podcast could be just that. Maybe not. But I like to believe that anybody that's thinking about utilizing podcasting for their brand can take information from this show and apply it. Use some of it, maybe not all of it, but something to get the ball rolling, or something to inject some life into their existing practices. If you know someone like that, the best thing you can do to support Let's Blow This Up is turn to one person in your circle and say, I know you've been talking about this podcasting stuff, or you're looking to do this with your existing show. Have you ever checked out Let's Blow This Up? It's a good podcast to learn from. That's it. That takes 2 seconds, and that goes a long way, because if they get something from it and they turn to a friend and do the same thing, we're off to the races and exponential growth kicks in. There's been a lot of math lessons on this episode. That's odd for me. I never expect myself to go down that path. But here we are. I'm evolving in my third season of Let's Blow This Up. But please take a moment to share, let people know that you're getting something from this show, and strap in, because season 3 is going to be a hell of a ride. And believe me, 12 weeks is going to fly by. This is going to help you get through the rest of this friggin' winter. And those of us on the East Coast know this winter has sucked. Almost a return to winters of past. The last few years, we got spoiled. February, like last year, was in the like 70s. I don't think it broke 30. Maybe it did a couple times. But overall, February has been cold as shit. Yesterday here in Pittsburgh, it was like 10. What is happening? It's something, the whole global warming thing took a holiday this year. I'm not getting into that. Nevertheless, this is going to be a great season packed with a lot of great content. If you showed up for even a couple minutes of this tonight, or if you're listening to the replay on the audio platforms, thank you for being here. Happy to set the table in a powerful way, because we're going to do some fun things, some big things, and have an absolute blast on season 3 of Let's Blow This Up. See what I did there? Blast, blow up. All right. You can tell I'm done for the night. Anyway, that's going to wrap up tonight's Kickoff Spectacular. And as I said, you can determine whether it was spectacular or not on your own accord. But I'm looking forward to getting this party started. Tuesday, February 25th, the very first co-host collective episode will go live on your favorite podcast platform. And we'll be right back here live, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on February 26th. Myself and Doug Downs are going to kick off this season's live stream series, and then Thursday, solo episode coming your way. That's what's coming this. Geez, I can't even end this right. That's what's coming your way on season 3 of Let's Blow This Up. I'm glad you're here, Bomb Squad. And until our paths cross again and we kick this mother off for season 3 on Tuesday, February 25th, I am Jason Sircone. This has been Let's Blow This Up. Until next time, stay explosive.